Welcome to the Dan Sports Tips Daily Fantasy MLB show for today, the 16th of September. I will be taking a look at everything you need for your daily fantasy games on DraftKings today. I'll be looking at starting pitchers, stacks of the day, how we can construct a lineup to maximise our point scoring potential, foundation players that should be used as a foundation for a winning lineup, and a value player at each position. For anyone that hasn't had the opportunity to sign up and play daily fantasy sports with DraftKings yet, I will pop a link in the description of this video that will enable you to do that today. Looking at starting pitchers today, Kluber of Cleveland for 12,900, I believe is a top player pitcher today. Max Scherzer just doesn't have the strikeout upside at the price. He hasn't exceeded 7 strikeouts against the Braves in his 3 starts against them this year, and that's just not going to return value at that rate for a cost of almost 14,000. Kluber has struck out 30 over 3 starts. He's 5-1 with a 2.70 ERA in his last 7 starts, and in 2 starts against Detroit this year, both earlier in the season when he was struggling somewhat, his combined line is 17 innings pitched, 1 earned run with 17 strikeouts. So although Miggy and Victor Martinez have got good numbers against him, Kluber has excelled against Detroit this year. John Lackey of the Chicago Cubs, he is 10,500 today. There are a couple of things that make me nervous about Lackey. Firstly, that when teams clinch, they do sometimes see a dip in performance in subsequent games, and obviously the Cubbies did clinch the Central last night, and he hasn't beaten Milwaukee in either start against them this year. That being said, both those games were on the road. Lackey's been a full 2 runs better at Wrigley's than on his travels. He's worth around a strikeout per inning this year with 165 strikeouts in 169 and 1/3 innings, and the Brewers obviously do lead baseball when it comes to strikeouts this season. Felix Hernandez of Seattle for $8,000. I expected the King to be more expensive than this, and sure, he isn't striking hitters out like he used to, just 109 strikeouts in 133 and a third this year. He does have a couple of 6 earned run outings in his last 3 trips to the hill as well, but even with those, he's 5-1 with a 3.63 ERA in his last 7 starts. The Mariners are surging, they've won 9 of their last 10 games. The Astros are fading out of the postseason picture. In this picture-friendly ballpark, the safe, I think Felix looks a reasonable play against a unit that strikes out amongst the top 3 in all of baseball. Ubaldo Jimenez of Baltimore for 7,500. It always takes balls to play Ubaldo. He hasn't exactly been reliable. He has 104 strikeouts in 123 1/3 innings on the year, but also an unsightly 5.98 ERA. He has been solid his last 3 starts, which does include a complete game outing against these Tampa Bay Rays in opposition today. That day he allowed 3 earned runs with 6 strikeouts. The Rays do strike out a lot, and although the yard here at Camden Yards is an upgrade for hitters over the Trop, weather conditions don't look to be aiding the hitters that would have made this more of a fade than a play. Luke Weaver of the St. Louis Cardinals for 5,200 is the pitcher to be used if you're looking to play Coors today. Weaver has 39 strikeouts in 31 innings, though that number is boosted by 2 starts against Milwaukee. He's allowed no more than 3 earned runs in any of his 6 starts, and he gets to face the slumping Giants lineup, who don't profile hugely well for the strikeout, but at this price range you don't need a lot of strikeouts to make it value. Stacks of the day today obviously will start at Coors Field for what I assume is the final homestand of the season at altitude. The Rockies are hosting the Padres. The pitching matchup is Tyler Chatwood against Christian Friedrich. Now, while Christian Friedrich picked 6 innings without an earned run at Coors, his only start against the Rockies there this year, the sample size is small. If we check the rest of his career, including his time spent in Colorado as a pitcher, it is still a small sample size in respect to starts, but we see the number comes more in line with his career ERA, which is over 5. Though considering he shut them down when he saw them at Petco in his last start, he does have a good history this year against Colorado, and I wouldn't want to go too nuts, as we know that Colorado are more effective against a righty. I will say take maybe a small mini stack of Colorado Rockies though. Outfielder Charlie Blackmon for 5,600. He's a 319 hitter with 27 homers and 16 steals, hitting 345 with 4 homers in the last 7 games. Second baseman DJ LeMahieu for $5,000. He's hitting 346, 10 homers this year, 423 in his last 7, and he's on the right side of the platoon in the matchup. Third baseman Nolan Arenado for 5,500. It's also on the right side of the platoon, hitting 296, 37 homers on the year, 333 hitter in his last 7 games, and a multi-hit game in each of the last 3. The San Diego Padres are a more difficult lineup to project. Obviously, they don't score lots of runs. Tyler Chatwood is a pitcher who doesn't allow a lot of home runs either. He has pitched shutouts in 2 starts at Petco against San Diego this year, and he allowed 3 earned runs across 6 innings in his only start at Coors without a home run. To that effect, I think I will leave the Padres bats today, and in all all honesty, I wouldn't put you off a full call swerve either, with other solid options available to us. Amongst those options are the Los Angeles Dodgers against Zach Greinke. Greinke has been horrid this month with a 9.28 ERA and a 0-2 record in his 2 starts. This includes a battering at the Dodgers' hands, where he allowed 8 earned runs with 5 homers in 4 2/3 innings. The Dodgers have never been kind to Greinke. His career ERA against them is 4.17. He's allowed a big fly every time he's seen them this year. I'll take shortstop Corey Seager for 5,100. He has the platoon and 2 home runs against Greinke. He's a 316 hitter with 25 home runs on the year. Third baseman Justin Turner for 4,900. He has a home run against Greinke. He's hitting 271 with 27 homers on the year. 2 of those have come in the last 7 games. Second baseman Chase Utley for 3,200. Also has the platoon and a homer against Greinke, hitting 251 with 12 homers on the season. And outfielder Jock Pederson for 4,300 also has the platoon and a homer against Greinke, hitting 245 with 22 homers a year. 300 hitter with 2 homers in his last 7 games. The Chicago White Sox against Ian Kennedy. The wind is forecast to be blowing out of Kaufman today. Kennedy has been pitching very, very well. He's gone 5-0 with a 2.45 ERA in his last 7 starts. He's also notched a couple of very good outings the last twice against the White Sox, allowing a single earned run over 12 1/3 innings. 3 starts ago, with favourable hitting conditions, the fly-ball prone pitcher, Ian Kennedy, who has allowed 31 home runs this season, gave up 7 earned runs, including 4 homers to the White Sox. Granted, that game was at US Cellular Field, which is a much better hitter's park than in Kansas City, but it's not impossible or improbable that the White Sox score some runs today. Outfielder Adam Eaton for 4,300. Has the platoon, is a 285 hitter with 13 homers, 12 steals, hitting 448 with a homer in his last 7 games. First baseman Jose Abreu for 4,600. He's hitting 299 with 24 homers on the season, 400 with 6 homers in the last 15 games. Outfielder Melky Cabrera for 3,300. The switch hitter has 2 home runs against Ian Kennedy. He's batting 297 this year with 10 home runs. Third baseman Todd Frazier for 3,500. He's a 214 hitter, doesn't hit for average, but he does have 36 bombs. And catcher Alex Avila for 2,800 has the platoon. He also has 2 home runs against Ian Kennedy. He has hit 6 home runs this year while batting 221. 2 of those home runs have come in the last 7 games. 4 of them have come in the last 15 games. Other stacks that look viable today include the Baltimore Orioles, the New York Mets, the Cincinnati Reds. As I say, there are plenty of options out there today. My foundation players, at first I'll take Anthony Rizzo for those of you playing the early slate of the Chicago Cubs. It's 5,400 today. The platoon advantage, hitting 290 with 31 homers. Second baseman Ryan Schimpf of San Diego is probably the only Padre I would use at cause. 4,900. Platoon advantage, hitting 229 with 19 homers. 2 of them have come in the last 7 games. Third baseman Chris Bryant, who can also be used in the outfield of the Chicago Cubs, is 4,600. He has a home run against today's starter for Milwaukee, Chase Anderson. He's hitting 295 with 37 homers on the year. Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki of Toronto for 4,100 gets to face Jared Weaver, who has lost a lot of velocity. He's hitting 256 with 23 homers this year, batting 308 with a homer in the last 7. Outfielder Marcelo Zuna of the Miami Marlins for 4,200. He has the platoon, hitting 270 with 23 homers, and he hit a home run in his last game. For my value plays today, I will take Tucker Barnhart of the Cincinnati Reds for 3,200. The switch hitter's hitting 252 with 7 home runs. Ryan Vogelsong, who starts for Pittsburgh, has an ERA over 11 in his last 3 games. First baseman Victor Martinez of Detroit for $3,000. The switch hitter has 3 home runs against Corey Kluber. He's hitting 290 this year with 24 homers. Second baseman Jonathan Scope of Baltimore for $3,600. He has 2 home runs against Chris Archer. Archer has a 4.74 ERA this year against Baltimore, which spikes to 10.8, I believe, in his only start actually at Camden Yards. He's a 274 hitter with 24 home runs on the year. 3 of those have come in the last 7 games, and he is quite a streaky hitter. Third baseman Ryan Healy of Oakland for 3,700 has a platoon against Cole Hamels. He's batting 309 with 10 homers, hitting 448 with 3 homers in the last 7 games. Hamels' ERA spikes when he pitches at home to 4.10, which is almost a couple of runs worse than his number when he's pitching on the road. Shortstop JJ Hardy of Baltimore for 2,900. He's a 266 hitter with 9 home runs, batting 400 with a homer in the last 7 games. An outfielder, Mark Trumbo of Baltimore, for 3,900. He's hitting 248, but he does have 42 home runs on the year. That's the advice I've got for your lineups today. Best of luck if you are having a play, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to like the video. Hit me up in the comments with the daily fantasy plays you like today, and press that subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I will be here all MLB season and through the NFL season with daily fantasy sports advice. If you haven't signed up yet, or you're interested in starting to play daily fantasy sports, please click the link in the description for this video, and that'll take you where you need to go to start playing with DraftKings today. Best of luck with your lineups, and have a great day.